Hi guys, welcome to the very first episode of Path of Exile. So now I think I've got a lot of friends from Marvel Heroes World, and some of you asked me if I could try out Path of Exile or if I have tried out Path of Exile. The answer is no, I haven't. And the reason why was that when Path of Exile first came out, Marvel Heroes was around as well, just about the same time. And I've devoted a lot of time with Marvel Heroes, but these days the game has been undergoing some kind of like a low kind of period. So everybody's waiting for the next big update from Marvel Heroes, and I've been looking around as well. And since some of you asked if I've tried out Path of Exile, so I gave it a try during the weekend. This is like the first 8 hours of how I experienced this one. Now, for those who like the genre of action role-playing game, this is pretty classic. I must say, it really hooked me up in some sense that I didn't think that I would like it, but it actually turned out to be rather well. So now, so what this video is about is really for those who haven't been heard or play Path of Exile, want to see it from someone who has been really into Marvel Heroes. And how do I think about the Path of Exile game? And so just a little bit of intro, probably just maybe 10 minutes or so on the intro. Then I'll play some games as well, show you how it plays like. All right. So now there are actually multiple classes you can pick. Of course, it's not Marvel Heroes. You can't pick 59 heroes or whatnot. But it is rather interesting. They have some pure kind of classes. A Ranger is a pure class. Is by Dexterity, and you have the Witch as well by Intelligence, and also I think there's also one like a warrior kind of like a character as well. So there are three pure class, and then after that there will be a hybrid as well. So Templar is for example a hybrid between the more of the strength, which is melee, as well as the intelligence, and you have others as well. So there are altogether 6 classes to start with, but there will be a 7th one. I read once you have unlocked Act 3, there is something called a Sion, which is like a hybrid of everything. You can play strength, dexterity, as well as intelligence to it. So it's really interesting. There's not much customization per se. You can't change how the character looks like. You can't even change the gender. So if you play a ranger, then you have to play a female, which is also a female. Then I think it's one shadow, don't know what. I think this is the one, and the shadow.
A simple job, I was told.
No, it's a guy actually.
A big mouth, get a big
Sorry, at the background doesn't look like a guy.
Except for one loose end.
So this is more like a rook kind of thing. I don't know. So
unfortunately, not something my employers believed.
Yeah.
They raised a toast to a job well done. I drank in the next.
Yeah, and also there are a couple of other you could pick whether you want to play a standard story mode, which is I think some of you who've been playing Diablo 3, you probably understand that there's difference between Essence, which is the standard default story mode, versus the hardcore, which is once you die, then you lost everything in your possession. You have to restart the character again, which is very exciting because you try not to die. And so far, I haven't experienced any defeat yet, but it's only level 16 for my witch. Then you have something called the hardcore essence. So the first moment you get killed in a hardcore mode, then you become a standard character. So something like that. It's rather interesting. I'm not going to create a new character. I'm going to play one of my new. I play a witch. And this witch is level 16. So now I must say, artwork wise, it's not really that fantastic. I must say the legs are a bit short though. I don't know why. And the costume is rather uninspiring in some sense. There's no transport like Diablo 3, so collecting gear is just for the stat and so on. But one thing really interesting about the Path of Exile is that the skill or so-called ability or power is actually come with a germ. So what does germ look like? A germ look like something like that, like this one here. Here. So lightning trap, it does something like it has some text on it: projectile, trap, spell, duration, lightning. So it is important all this tagging. Just like Marvel Heroes, you have all this tagging as well. But interestingly, the germ itself you have to level up as well. So as you equip it into your equipment, I'll talk a little bit about it later. Then your germ get level up. So now in order to deal damage or whatever it is, you must have a gem. So a gem is very important, and it gives a theme of you can have something that's blue in color, which primarily require things like the intelligence. But although there are some other requirement for the strength and dexterity as well for this one. Then you have something called like, maybe some melee support. Now I've got other gems as well. Maybe let me show you. So now, here you can see, notice I've got quite a number of power here, like magma orb. You have a fireball, which I'm a witch. I can summon skeleton as well, something like necromancer kind of build. I can summon the this kind of like fire skull as well, and I can have a totem, and I have like a decoy as well. So it's rather interesting, depending on what kind of gems that you have picked up along the way, depending on when you complete a story, which one do you choose. And it kind of like branch you into certain thing, and depending on luck as well. If you get a germ kind of like drop from the mob or from some of your chest, then you get extra power. So you have to collect your power. It's rather interesting. It's not something that's just handed to you by a trainer and say, here is your power, here is the ability to use. No, you have to collect germs. So now, once you have the germs, you have to slot it into your equipment. Like for example, here, I've got one gem here called Fireball, and I've got one gem here called Firestorm. So one is the one that like AOE power, very classic kind of like if you play Diablo 2, Diablo 3 probably is something at home with all these power and so on. So you can take all these things out. So for example, I can like right click. I can take those germs out. Now once I take it out, of course I lost the power. See, I don't have the power. So I must germ it up, like put it inside here. And if you notice, my germ has a level as well. So I level 6 Fireball and level 2 Firestorm, because I just collected Firestorm lately, but Fireball has been with me since the beginning. But all more interestingly so, right? There's a quality as well. So germs is not just germs. These are not just power. You can upgrade the quality. You can get a better germ. So I actually had a Fireball before, which is a standard one from starting the game, and after that I found a better Fireball gem. Then I level from 1 again, which is fine. It doesn't take too long. So this is like a main hand, and you can have an off hand as well. You see all these socket, like green socket, intelligent, which is the blue socket, and so on. You have to go along with the gem to it. So sometimes even if you have a lot of like intelligence based power, if you do not have blue slot sockets, then you can't use it as well. So it's rather interesting. And like for example, head item here, I got 2 red gem here. Now red usually is to go along with the strength as well. And and you can see that I've got a decoy totem. I've got like a rejuvenation totem, which is really interesting as well, because these are totems that you can put on the floor, and it will help you taunt. It will help you regenerate health. I'll talk about health just a little bit. But so you got all this gear. Some are blue in color. Some are like yellow. I suppose yellow is a better quality with a lot of affixes to it. Some come with socket as well. So it's rather interesting. A lot of like quality stuff and a lot of socket that you think about. But there's also something quite interesting. Germs are not just like this is a summon skeleton germ, which is blue germ. It requires intelligence at level 13, but you can actually link it as well. There's another germ, there's a minion damage support that will support your minion. So if you put the two together, I suppose, now I'm still a newbie, all right, but I suppose if you link them together, this one amplify this power here. So it's very interesting. So now this is the gear itself. You can have many stats to your heart content. After a while, you kind of get it because each of the gem has a requirement, and sometimes, like for example, I could level things up, but I can level a gem, but then I'm also a little bit concerned, because once you level a gem, it has higher requirement, like require higher strength, require higher mana or whatever. Then it comes to a point whereby because I'm a witch, I do not really have a lot of like a strength gear at this point in time I'm leveling, so I will have to hesitate, think whether I should level or not. So in this case, I probably want to hold on to it first. And there are some other power like this one, minion damage support, that is going to hit my level 4 soon. So it's again something to think about. And now the primary thing about this game is the 3 stats here, which is the intelligence, the strength, as well as the dexterity. So dexterity, I think, is more for the range kind of like maybe range, maybe melee kind of rook kind of like gameplay. Strength is more like it is a pure melee really, and the intelligence is is for the caster. Now, intelligence comes with the shield, which is rather interesting as well, because the shield will get hit first before the life will get consumed. The shield can be regenerated, health usually can't, unless you have some gear to support that. So I mean, there's a lot of depth to it, and that's why I kind of getting to like this game, to be honest. Now you have 8 power to choose from: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for Marvel heroes again. So you have 8 power to choose from, and also you have Flasks as well. Now Flasks is a very interesting concept. You have 4 slots. You can have some of the Flasks. Some of them has a better quality than others, and you can have like for me, some life, some mana, and some of them help me to run faster a little bit. So I do have to think about which one to consume, aside, like Marvel Heroes is only a med kit, but here you have 5 Flasks to think about what to do with it. So there's a lot of things, I'm not going to overload the whole thing with all the info, but one thing I would like to share with you, and probably see whether I can share that with you in a moment. All right. So now, one of the most impressive thing about Path of Exile, or more overwhelming, I think, for some of the newer player, is the skill tree. Now, skill tree, to be very honest, this is not something, I haven't heard of. I have heard of it, and I think the main reason why I haven't started playing this game is because I got so overwhelmed with the thought about having to, develop my skill in this web. These are 1,000 over nodes there. I mean, if you have seen this one, I think World of Warcraft artifact weapon looks really child play compared to this one. If you take a look at this, is exactly something like what you see in the World of Warcraft kind of like artifact weapon whereby I can unlock some nodes and get some bigger node and so on. But I think even so, Marvel Heroes perspective, even with the Omega system, is nothing really compared to this one. I didn't know until now. Now, how this whole I don't know how to talk about this, man. It's what I would like to say is that it's actually not that scary. If this one has been holding you back from playing this game, Path of Exile, which it had to me, I think it's actually worth giving a try. It's not that scary. Now, in this whole map, you can develop your character. There are, I think, hundreds of points that you can allocate. You can develop your character through any of these things here, right? But of course, if you are a witch, then your primary stat will be on the intelligence, which is right here, and that's where you develop. And if you're a Sion, which is like a true hybrid, you start from somewhere here as well. And the rest of it you spin out. These are the 5 classes, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 classes that you have. So it's 3 primary classes, which I presume is like this, and the other hybrid will be like this. And there's another one, the true hybrid, the Sion class. So there are 7 kind of like classes that you can pick from, and you can start from here. But there's nothing stopping you from venturing out to any part of this like a node that you have, because what I noticed is that the node around this whole starting journey usually are quite nice. So now what are some of the nodes, right? So I'm a witch, and a witch I have like intelligence, strength, as well as dexterity. So initially I have 2 choices. Either I can increase my energy shield and mana regeneration, which kind of lead towards this node here, which is deeper wisdom, giving more mana, more energy shield, more intelligence. But there's also another path that will help me to increase my spell damage, and it will somehow lead to this faster casting speed, better spell damage. And within the node itself, you can have 2 paths. Either A, you want to increase the spell damage, or B, you want to increase the cast speed. Whichever one it is more for experiment, because it's my first character. But because I do solo a lot of time, sometimes I do kite a little bit. So cast time to me is not as important, at least to me, as the spell damage. Likewise for energy shield, you can have faster mana and more mana and more faster mana regeneration. But as a solo, I don't really run out of spirit that much, mana that much, because I keep kiting around sometimes. And I think more importantly to me is a shield that protect me. So it is again some of these choices that you can make. And when I first play a witch, I said to myself, I actually started a few witches and see which one I liked. And because there's no respect, you can have some refund, but then refund point are very rare. It's for you to correct certain small tiny mistake. It is good and bad. I think at first I was very reluctant when it comes to a game that I cannot respect. But then again, the build should matter. And if the design is so good in a sense, then, I suppose playing a fire witch and playing an ice witch is something very different. And, you may warrant 2 witches that you should play. So now, when I started my witch, I think about, what should I be? I should be a fire witch, because you can be a fire witch, you can be a ice witch, you can be a lightning witch, you can be a curse, kind of like chaotic kind of witch kind of thing. So I said, I enjoy fire. I play a lot of ARPG. Always fire is what I enjoy having. So I started off my idea as a fire mage, fire witch, and then I can also be a necromancer as well, because as a solo, it's nice to have something to tank with me for me. So that is the kind of path that I would like to go. So now, why am I sharing with you all these things? Is that back to this whole thing. When I say it's not that scary, is because sometimes you can kind of guess which are the path they are heading towards. Like for example, this one fire walker increase fire damage, then this one lightning walker increase lightning, then this one increase frost. So obviously I'm not gonna pick all 3, because specialization I think is a better option for which I don't know. I think it is, but more so, you can actually think about where to go off from here there, because some of these icons are very nice. You can actually kind of know that, okay, so as a fire mage witch, I would probably want to head towards this part whereby I can have breath of flame, increase fire damage, ignition as well, and so on and so forth. So I can plan myself and say, okay, what, I think I will be going towards that way, and between these 2, it may not be a bad idea too. So that is kind of my thought, that I'll probably go towards that way. But I can also pick up some of these things along the way as well. There are things like this one here I picked up as a sub note here, which is annihilation, which is increased a lot of crit chance for spell, as well as crit multiplier, which is our Marvel Heroes crit damage rating. So it's nice to have some more crit and so on. So now I've probably a better chance to crit. 50, 25, 20. Wow, there's a lot of crit. I don't know how it works, but it's something along that line. And I could hear some of this, I can see the fire and ice icon here. I know that it is probably somewhere that I could think about going towards, and some of them is increasing my area damage as well. So I may, if I play this game a lot, that I want to do a lot of area damage, I may want to spec my witch as pretty insane in the area, pretty insane in the fire, and sort of like the minion side of it will be somewhere like like some of these are totem as well. So yeah, you can't be good at everything, but I think in a sense, once you have a concept of how you play your witch, then yeah, that is the way to do it. And even if you waste your time and say, well, I've chosen a totally completely wrong path and I don't really enjoy what I do, you can always start another hero. Right now I've start another character. My playtime is only about close to 8 hours, so 8 hours I got to level 16. I've completed Act 1, so I don't know how much more I need to go, but I don't presume it's very high in the, I don't know, man. Once I hit the level cap, I don't even know what level cap is. Then probably I can talk a little bit more about that. So that is the very exciting thing I would like to share with you. In terms of graphic wise, it's so you can see the gameplays a little bit later. At first I'm actually quite surprised, because at starting area the graphic was pretty poor. I can show it to you right now here. It doesn't look too, there's some water here and there, but it look, most of the time it looks really dark and so on. And how do I get out from here? Yeah, so well, I can't really get out from here in some sense. So yeah, it doesn't look very, very high end when it comes to a graphic point of view, and the character doesn't really look that great. But it does grow on me after a while. And what does short means? So now I've been playing this game for 8 hours. I don't really have any complaints so far in terms of stash. They give you one big stash here. There's a lot of currency, by the way. All these are currency. And there's a lot of farming. I don't know. Everything converted in something called the Scroll of Wisdom. So whenever you sell something, you actually convert it into Scroll of Wisdom. Scroll of Wisdom is the one to help you identify the object. So much like Diablo 3 or Diablo 2, like for example this one unidentified. So what I could do is I can use one of this thing into that one and become identified, become like this, identified. So likewise for everything else I could use it for. And this is probably the only currency we have in this game, I think. There are other things like, all this like help you upgrade your gear and so on and so forth. But, that I can't even deal with it right now. It's just that is probably for another day. And there are other slots as well. So, there are 4 slots or in general. So, maybe once I hit the level max, and I'll probably comment about whether I have enough stash or not. But so far I've been really able to play this game without struggling. I imagine if I play Marvel Heroes, probably I'll be picking out a lot of stuff and running out of stash rather fast. But for this game though, I mean all these things I could actually vaporize. I don't really intend playing another class so soon, because I really like my goal is probably get a witch to end game, and after that I probably play a Xeon, which is a whole complete hybrid in a sense. Alright, so now that is really all, and I'll just show you the gameplay in just a bit. Alright. So now let's talk a little bit about the gameplay, and from a waypoint point of view, it's very much a Marvel Heroes waypoint. I've already completed the entire Act 1, so I'm going to skip Act 1 and head to Act 2. I haven't seen Act 2 yet, man. I mean, it's the very first time I'm seeing it. So Act 2, oh yeah, from a story point of view, somehow, why is it called Path of Exile? All these gifted individual, be as witch or whatnot, being sent to exile. Somehow the storyline is that there's probably all these characters has committed some crime somewhere, and they are left here to die in some sense. So but after landed, the character made the way into a town where people are struggling to survive all these zombie and skeletons and whatever it is out there. And so this character has done some really heroic kind of deed. So completed Act 1 and now heading on to Act 2, which is here, the Southern Forest, which is monster level 13. So now I'm quite glad that it is here because it's kind of bright. So now what I can do here is that probably talk a little bit about what I can do here. For example, I can have like a skeleton here. I used to have zombies though. Zombie is damn ugly, but then the good thing about zombie is that it does move along with the hero or character quite well, and it's quite rather durable as well. And zombie doesn't kind of like there's no disintegration, like okay, now the skeleton is gone. So for zombie it doesn't, but the zombie require a corpse to raise that. So something has to die first before you can raise a zombie. But I personally prefer the zombie in some sense. But anyway, I'll try this out. But the good thing about this is that and I can have a totem that taunt target. This is a totem that taunt target, or I can have a totem that help me to regenerate health as well. So these are the two things I have. And I have this like a ring of fire. It's called the Firestorm. All right. Then after that, I have this something called magma. Okay, so this is the skull that can, kind of like explode. And I've called the something called the magma orb, which is kind of like it's an AOE and it bounces. So it something like that. It bounces at one time. So it's kind of like if you have a line of mobs, it's very very nice to have that. But in any case, I think what I'll do, I'll just like explore this area. Just play some games here, show you why it is rather interesting here. And so you can notice my energy shield will get like regenerated as well, and I can do fireball, but usually fireball is for the fireball is for the single target I'll do. So yeah. Alright, so this is the and it's about exploration as well. It's really walking around, covering the map and so on. Alright, so yeah, I don't know why my mob kind of die very fast. My skeleton kind of thing. Alright, so that's done. So a lot of these are white stuff I'm not going to pick this scroll of wisdom, which is more like gold in this game. Alright, so now it's going through the very nice some bird chirping. I don't know whether I can hear it or not, but there are actually birds chirping here. It's a lot of the armor is not that bad, I must say, but from a Diablo point of view, I think Diablo is better in some sense, maybe. So this is Firestorm, and summon another totem here, another Firestorm, and my skeleton is probably dead. Alright. The good thing about Firestorm is that you can let it run its own thing as well. Just like a layer in Marvel Heroes, if you must. Yeah. So I am going somewhere, I think. Alright, and I'm hearing something. Okay, so this is like so I can't really. So like I say, I mean, it's a lot of exploration. I don't exactly know if I know the way or not. And I realized that the map kind of random as well, which is nice. I mean, in this time and age, a lot of games are just fixed map, and after you run it through once, you kind of like, you know, you don't really want to run it again kind of thing, well, at least from my perspective. Because it's always the same old map, but this one kind of seems the map is a little bit different. I don't know. You guys can let me know. But wow, I get ambushed. Like a summon skull, some skull. Like those are target seeking. So when do I need this? Like when I can't even see what's happening. I think probably I'll you know, summon some of this skull. Like it's a lot easier to manage. All right. Yeah. So yeah, the skeleton died really fast. I kind of miss my zombie actually. There's a lot of thing here as well. So yeah, I mean, you can see, like, you know, in a way there are quite a lot of power that I can play with, like, you know. Oh, there's a chest here. Yeah, there's you know, this is like an elite kind of thing. Single target it. Okay, so there's a one. There is like a greater mana flask, which is nice. And wow, you know, maybe I just get this done first. There's a tribal chest. So I mean, sometimes you do wonder what do I loot? Yeah, I mean, you know, depends on. And the So it's like a little bit of necromancer, a bit of fire mage kind of thing. That is in essence what happened. Die! And sometimes this kind of urn or whatever it is could be quite useful. It may drop some useful gear or useful germs that you require for your power. And I mean, I must say, I mean, this is the first time I see this place. It's actually artwork-wise, it looks rather nice. I'm not a big fan of the dungeon, which is rather, like, you know, dark and so on. And the all look the same. So but yeah, it does look very nice here, I must say. And yeah, I mean, why I also start playing, well, I start looking into the Path of Exile as well. I think Mr. Bravik is heading towards the Path of Exile as well. So yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm on the Singapore server, so it's a bit unfortunate this game is not global. So, and the what is this people there? So I'm summoning some skull. Yeah, this game is not that global, so in a sense. So there's a forest encampment, and and there's like you know, what should I do here? Maybe I should complete this whole like discovery. There's another portal scroll, by the way, will allow me to return to town with all my loot and so on. So I think this part I've done it, and what I'll do, I'll go into the other zone. So before I go there, probably I'll take a look at my loot. You see, she doesn't really look inspiring, man. That's why the shop is for a lot of cosmetic items, which I think is rather essential. So this one, unidentified. So what I need to do is identify it, and it's like, wow, 6% increased mana recovery and so on. So these are really good stuff, and I could actually use it to okay, so maybe I use this one instead. Alright, so this is the flask that you use, and it gets filled up as I destroy enemies and so on. So it's very nice. The rest of it, do I want to identify? Probably not. I mean, not right now. I'll just go and exchange for some orbs or whatnot. So now I've there you go. I'm in town now, and this is the waypoint. Right, and now I'm here which you have a different path. This game is full of path, man. I think path is like their path to a skill, their path to all these things. So yeah, you got all these quests here. Actually, you know what? Chapter 2 looks much better than Chapter 1, to be honest. I didn't remember seeing all these things here, and that's my beloved stash. And then you can talk to all these people and get your quests and so on. Wow, Silk is here. Silk is a guy.
You and me, we are the same. We dream big, we find new places. We do not tell stories. Stories are told about us. I learn the words, the ways of Oriath. You listen to me, and not pigheads like Roost. Then you will live to find more new places. The road? It runs east and west of here. To the west it passes the bandit woman's camp, then turns south to the sea. But you say it is now blocked? I have seen a strange thing in the rock by the South Pass, like one of Krust's carvings, but of stone. You should go look at it. What has been closed might be opened again.
So yeah, so that is very much like Diablo 3. You talk to a person and that topic that you can choose, and there are various achievements and so on, and get a quest and get out. Basically go out and play the game. I can go left, I can go right, and I can decide which one to go. And these are all the quests that I need to kind of like solve before I head to next ad. I don't know how many ads are there, but so far, all these are icons and so on. So I hope this gives you an idea to how this game plays like, and what is Path of Exile for those who haven't seen it before. And for those who are in the Singapore server, do look me up. Wilfred Wong is my ID. So I don't know how I can contribute, but we'll see how it goes. And from a shop perspective, you may be wondering what kind of shop item that you can get. Basically, a lot of them are just very much cosmetic. I went through them. The only thing that probably useful is a stash space, and how much is it? Extra character slot, extra stash, and stash bundle as well. Yesterday was a discount, but I would just want to try out the game first. And all these things are just like very much cosmetic. I think in a way you badly need. This ring here, by the way, is I think about. I don't know how much is it, man. 1,304, 1,350. It sounds quite expensive. I think each dollar can buy you 50 pawn. So you can do the maths behind it, and it does seem quite expensive. Anyhow, I'll see you next time. I don't know whether you guys want me to do more Path of Exile or not. Do let me know. If you are playing the game, do share some tips with me as well. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.